Hey guys, Jed for Hunt and Harvest. Got a couple of new toys in the mail this week. This is the FX Dynamic 35 caliber air rifle. I've never had a PCP air rifle before, so I've got to go through the owner's manual, find out how to use it properly. And then the other thing that I received is a new thermal scope. This is the MARS MT1000LRF from Oneleaf. Oneleaf have sent me that to review, and I told them I'd just give an honest review of what I liked, didn't like. So I'm going to put it on the new air rifle, take it out, try and find some pigs and see how it goes. First of all, I'll also have to read the instruction manual on that one. I haven't had anything to do with Oneleaf products before, so I'll have to learn how to use that too. I'll take it down, sight it in, and we'll go from there. Alright, these magazines are a little bit different to normal too. Bit of a learning curve, learning how to load them. So this is a 10-shot mag. I've got 3 different types of slugs that I just ordered to see how they go. I've got 68 grain. They have a very large hollow in the top of them. 100 grain and 112 grain. That's the biggest I could find in Australia. There's some I can order from overseas that are like 130 or 140 grain. But I'll see how these all go first. I'm going to test the medium, sight them in with the 100 grain slugs, and then I'll do a bit of target practice either side, see how much difference that makes before I decide what to use on what animals. Alright, so it doesn't seem too complicated. This is now the new look at the new thermal. These are the specs on it. Comes with a 64 gig SD card, resolution 640 by 512. It's got both a 35mm and a 50mm lens, so there's different magnification on them. The 35 is 2 to 16, the 50mm is 2.8 to 22.4. Detection range is saying up to 1969 yards on the 35mm, 2843 yards on the 50mm. Yeah, detection can be a funny term. You can probably see that there's something with a heat signature at that range. You would have no idea what it is. You would not be able to zoom in and say, all right, that's a rabbit at 2,000 yards. You're not going to get, I don't know about the real high-end thermals for 20-30 grand, but you're never going to get that sort of optics on a $2,000 thermal, which is about what these are. These retail for 1,400 American, so do the exchange rate, and it's about two grand Australian, I think. Okay, so they come with heated targets for zeroing. I've been using the HIC Micro heated targets. I'd imagine these are the same thing. Once you open them up and they hit the air, they will heat up and last for about 10-15 minutes. Troubleshooting guide, user manual, and this is the unit. Okay, so it's got the 50mm lens on it. This would be the 35mm lens there. Spare O-rings for everything. Some Allen keys, battery caps and such. Okay, so that's another mount for a Picatinny rail. I see, they've sent me a quick release one. See, this came extra, another box extra from the box that you would buy for the 1400. So it's a quick release. Not essential, but I think I'll use it anyway, seeing as how I have both. In case I want to switch it to different rifles. I'm going to have to charge this up first. Cords. Alright, that's the basic unit anyway. I'll get it all set up on the rifle and I'll come back to you. Moment of truth. A bit interested to see how loud this is actually. I've never used a PCP air rifle though. Someone told me you might need ear protection. I have my doubts about that, but we will soon see. It's only about 20 metres away. Oh yeah, it's pretty loud. Wouldn't want to be firing too many rounds without earmuffs on. Anyway, it's reasonably, it's only that far off. 20 metres just with where I put that scope there, so alright, I'll make some adjustments and do some zeroing. Alright, just found the first issue that I don't like with it. You can't record your zeroing, can't go into any of the menus while you've got it recording, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not a killer. It just means I have to record on the GoPro instead of on here while I'm zeroing. Not that I'm gonna want to record zeroing all that often, but in this instance I do, so that's one downside in my opinion. Alright, the zeroing instructions are fairly straightforward. Within 2 shots I got it very close to where it is. It's only at 20 metres. Now I'm going to move it out a bit further and see how we go at that range. But yeah, the instructions for a Chinese company, I'm quite surprised at the English in their instruction, the user manual. It's quite straightforward and easy to understand. Some Chinese companies, I find their versions of English a bit humorous, but this is quite good. Alright, I'm just gonna record on this thermal to see what this next shot does. I've just changed the zero. Alright, I can't see where that hit. I'll have to go. Alright, that's pretty much exactly where I aimed, maybe a little bit to the right. I'll just try one more on the far left. Alright, I think it's slightly low and slightly right. So I will change that zero again. Okay, I've just moved it back out. You're gonna see what the rangefinder says. 38 yards. Alright, so it was at about 20, now it's nearly 40. I'll just see where that hits. Okay. I think that was high and right, but I'll just go and check. A little bit harder to see the impact through the thermal with the air rifle because the bullets are not as hot as, yeah, that's it there. Alright, okay. Yeah, they're not as hot as a gunpowder driven projectile. Not travelling as fast either, I guess, so they don't heat up as much from the friction in the barrel. Alright, so I took it out to 50 metres, 55 yards, and the last 2 shots I did are these 2 here. So there's about 3 centimetres between them, but that's probably just human error. Even with the tripod, there is a little bit of shake. It's not like it's cemented in and exactly solid, so 2 or 3 centimetre grouping at 50 metres is fine for what I want to use it for. I'm not going to be snipering things at 150 metres, and I'm going for pigs tonight, so they're a fairly big target, fairly big kill area. As long as you hit them in a 6-inch diameter behind the front leg there, you should bring them down with the 35 cal slug, providing it's got enough penetration. That'll be the next test. The bloke I'm going out to shoot on his property tonight, he reckons they're mostly small, so that will be useful to test the air rifle out on. I'm actually quite impressed at the clarity of the picture in this thing. Not seeing any. Oh, there's something over there. You got any animals down near that dam? It could be pigs. I'll just see if I can zoom in. It's not great, but once you zoom in, I can't really tell what they are. I think it might just be some metal or something holding heat down at the dam there. You got a pump shed or something? There's one thing out the front that looks a bit different, but it's not moving yet, so anyway, we can certainly see pretty well from up on this roof. Shit, that's nice and clear. That's black hot. I was just about to say I reckon I'll stick with white hot, but that is actually quite clear. This one's called Glory Hot. It's interesting. I went out that night to the papaya farm and sat up on the roof of the shed, which has a view out over the whole farm. I looked around for about half an hour, playing with the 11 different colour palettes, but no pigs showed up. So I decided to come back the next day with a camera and try to find their schedule. Just back out here at Danny's place. I'm going to set up a trail camera, see if we can find these pigs. That was the roof we were up on last night, having a look. You can see most of the farm from up there, so didn't see any pigs while I was out, so coming to check if we can set up a camera somewhere today. Alright, so I've been doing a bit more playing around with this today. Pretty impressed both with the rifle and the new thermal unit. This thing, they've given it to me on the condition that I use it in one of my videos and do a bit of a review on it. I told them I'd do an honest review, good and bad, so that's what I'm doing. Firstly, the price is very good. It's $1,329 at the moment on their website, American, which works out to just over $2,000 Australian, which is a good unit for that price. They've also given me an affiliate link, which I'll put in the description of the video, so if you're going to buy one, please visit their website through that link. I'll get a 7% commission. There's a few more features that I found today. It's got 6 different zeroing profiles, so if you want to switch it between guns, you can set it up, or even just have different ranges programmed in. You can set in a different reticle and zero on each profile, so I will probably set it up on this at 50 meters, profile 2 will be at 100 meters. I don't think I'll go any further than that with the air rifle, and then I'll probably switch it over onto the 308 or something like that and set it up also with a couple of different profiles. So it's pretty handy just with the little quick release mount. You just take it off this, put it on the other one, providing you've got it in the same slots on your rail as where you set it up. It should be close enough to be able to shoot with. You might have to zero it again just through minute movements if you're going to be doing long range or anything like that. But I generally don't with my thermal shooting. It's generally pretty close range. The other thing it's got, which is interesting, but I probably won't use, is a ballistics calculator. You need a lot of information. You've got to put in the muzzle velocity, everything from wind speed to barometric pressure, angle, it's actually got a feature in the main screen of this. You can have a gyro and compass, so it'll tell you north, south, where you're aiming, and gyro, how much tilt and elevation you've got on whether you're shooting up at an angle, down at an angle. It also has tilt, so I guess that's for the zeroing, so you know you've got your scope dead straight. Those are interesting and slightly useful features, the gyro and the compass, but the ballistics calculator, I doubt anyone apart from maybe military are going to be snipering things with a thermal from 500 meters plus, where that sort of thing really matters. I think you can zero these well enough for normal shooting without needing to put all the ballistics into it. But it will, if you want to do that, tell you exactly where your bullet's going to hit, given all those factors that you can program into it. Just one more feature that it has in there, which my previous thermals have not had. Interesting, but probably not really useful for me. So I'm going to take it out for a look tonight on my property. I got a few dingoes on the camera last night. I've got a few traps down near the creek. They didn't go in the traps, but I've seen them on the camera there, so I'm going to go for a look tonight. There was also one pig. Looks like a decent sized pig. So I'll go for a walk with this tonight, see if I can't get some real world experience, test them both out. Firstly, see if the air rifle's going to drop a pig. It'll almost certainly drop a dog, I think, but a pig. And secondly, see how the thermal goes with actual live targets. I haven't seen any with it yet. Footage is quite clear at that range, even when you zoom in to full zoom, so that's a positive. That night I went for a walk around the firebreak trails where I'd been seeing the dingoes on the cameras, but I didn't see anything more interesting than a couple of wallabies. In part, I think the 50mm lens might be the wrong choice for this thick bush. The 35mm with less magnification and a bigger field of view might have been more useful. But I also think I was just making too much noise. I'll probably need to go barefoot if I want to be able to get within sight of dingoes in that sort of country. Anyway, it was a nice walk in the dark and an opportunity to get to know the thermal a bit better. Just out here today doing a bit of a field test on the FX Dynamic, and I'm comparing it. Basically, I haven't found any pigs to shoot with it yet, so I just want to test it for penetration first against the 22 Magnum. I've got this little Volquartsen super light 22 Magnum. I've killed plenty of pigs with that, so I know it will do the job if it's going to penetrate as well as that. That's the smallest gun I use on pigs, so I'm testing it against that. The FX, it's supposed to generate 200 foot-pounds of force. It's a 100 grain slug at 900 foot per second, so it should do the job given decent shot placement on pigs. But anyway, this is what I've got. I've got 30 sheets of cardboard clamped together here. It's about 10 centimeters, a bit over 10 centimeters thick of cardboard. I'm going to just try it at 25 meters first, just to see if it'll go right through, and then I'll move it back to 50. I'll probably put 3 different shots, 25, 40, 50, and then take it apart and see how much it's gone through on each different one. And the same thing with the 22 Magnum. I'll do 22 Magnum on this side, the air rifle, the 35 cal over on this side, and just see what sort of penetration we get from both. Okay, I'll go with the dynamic first. I've changed the unit on it to meters. It was in yards when I first got it. That's one other feature. It doesn't matter where you're from, you can change the unit. Okay, so that I've just pasted that out to where I thought was 25 meters, and it's actually 24.8 apparently, so pretty close. Doesn't need to be deadly accurate, and I've got my tripod on the camera out at the paw block, so I'm just going to lean on the back of the ute here. Alright, I'll give it one with the 22 Magnum. Don't know how much cardboard it'll take to stop something at that range. Okay, 35, 22, and they've both gone straight through. Okay. Alright, I'll take it out to 50 and we'll see if they're still going straight through. If they are, I will have to go and find something else to use as a target. Alright, this is the range that I zeroed it at the other day, so alright, they're both still going through. I'm going to have to find something else. Alright, I can see if I'm going to be doing any of these type of testing reviews. Very often I would have to get some ballistic gel, but I don't think I'm going to do this. It's not really my thing. I'm just testing out a new type of gun that I've never had before, so that's the reason for this test. So I've just put a 1.25 litre bottle of water in front of each side. It's left it at 50 meters there. Going to give that a hit and see how we go there. Water will slow bullets down very quickly, so hopefully this will be a bit of a easier test of penetration. It will get stuck in the cardboard there somewhere. Yeah, that one definitely hit. Got the 22 Magnum around. Alright, so there was two more through that bottle. They're both through the thickest part of the bottle, so that's fine. Didn't go through the top section there. This one just went through the thickest part there as well. Jesus, they're still all going through. Alright, I'll I'll see what else I can come up with. Thermal that I've got, that I'm doing a review on here, the one thing I've found that I don't like about it so far, it's a good unit, especially for the price, it's fantastic, but the microphone is not fantastic. It's particularly because in hunting situations you want to be fairly quiet, so I'm whispering, trying to tell, like if you want to make videos of hunting situations, I went out this morning, there wasn't anything to be seen out there, but if there was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what's going on through the thermal, because when you talk very quietly and whisper, it won't pick it up. It's fine on the shot sound and anything slightly loud, but also the wind, as you can see, it's quite windy today, and the wind noise was much louder than my whispering, even though I was trying to whisper right into the top where the microphone is. It just didn't pick up the sound of my voice very well, especially with the wind over the top. So that's one issue I would try and fix if you Oneleaf guys are looking for tips on what to make better, the microphone. Apart from that, it's got 5 different scene modes, which is an interesting feature. I've never had that on either of my previous thermals, the HIC Micro or the Guide. You can set it on a different scene mode for either rain, fog, urban, which is like buildings, forest, which is most of what I do is forest, and snow, if it's bright snow. One question I get asked for a lot when I'm talking about thermal hunting to people who haven't done it is, are they useful in the daytime? So I'm going to show you here now in broad daylight what the picture is like, what you see. They are useful. You don't see colour like a normal daytime scope, but you will see it like the same as you do at night with a thermal. Alright, I'm not likely to use this during the day very often, so I'm just going to have a bit more of a look around with some actual living targets so you can see how useful it would be during the daylight. Interesting. The feathers are fairly good insulators by the looks of it, only the heads look hot. I'll just show you the zoom. You do lose a little bit of the definition and the clarity when you zoom in. Alright, my cows out here are in fairly long grass. I can only just see the tops of their back over the grass, so this will sort of give you an idea. You do have to have a line of sight with the thermal. It's not going to show you a heat signature through anything that you can't see through yourself. Well, I've given up my career as a ballistics expert. I've looked into getting some ballistic gel, and it was going to take a couple of weeks to get here, so I'm not going to bother with any more ballistic tests. I spoke to some guys at FX. I emailed them, and they've assured me they've got real world experience with shooting pigs with these, and depending on shot placement, of course, they said this will definitely stop a pig. It will go through a pig's skull. So I just spoke to another mate today. He's got another farm, and the pomelos are producing at the moment, and he said there's just pigs for days out there at the moment. He assures me I will see a pig tonight if I go out there, so that is the plan. I'm going to go out just after dark and take this for its first test run on some live targets.
Alright, I've just got my red head torch on because pigs can't see red, so it's not going to spook them, and there's no moon out tonight, so I'm going to need it to find my way around. One thing I don't like about this FX air rifle is this magazine won't stay in there unless it's cocked with a bullet in the chamber, so I'm not going to put that in until I see some pigs. I'll just have to carry it and then put it in when I see something. Pretty close. I'm just going to check the next couple of rows. Jeez, these buggers are tough. That first one that I dropped, he's ended up getting back up. I can see his blood trail here. There's blood on that tree there. But he's got back up and kept going. Problem with these pomelo trees is they're too thick to see through with the thermal. But I'll go through and see if I can pick him up in the next row. That one dropped pretty close to where I hit it. She was just in the next row there. And I only hit it sort of midway along, so it must have pretty good penetration. Not really a kill shot. I can hear those little suckers in this stuff here, but it's head high and very thick.
Well, there you have it. The air rifle will stop pigs, but she's not exactly a monstrous pig, and it didn't go through. There's no exit wound. So it doesn't have what you'd call devastating penetration. But anyway, it's done the job. I'll have to have a look for those other two that I dropped and got back up in the morning. Just out here on the Pomelo farm again, trying to see if I can find a couple of those pigs that I hit from last night. The one in particular, that first one, that was a headshot and dropped straight away. I've never seen a pig drop and go into death throes like that, like involuntarily spasming its back legs and then get up and run off. I don't think he would have gone too far when he did. He did move from where I shot him, but he can't have gone too far, so I should be able to find him, I think. One of the owner's dogs has followed me up here, so hopefully he might help me. I'm going to go for a wander with the air rifle again, just in case those little buggers are still hanging around. Well, he's gotten away further than I thought. I found the blood where I hit him, where he scraped against that tree on his way through, and I've come down this way another 5 rows, walked up and down every row, checking in under the trees, and I can't see him anywhere. And from here on I go into mangoes, and they're all nice and clean under the trees. You can see he's not in there. So unless he turned around and went back up the other way, I haven't checked up further from where I hit him. I haven't seen the video footage yet. I'll have to go and check that. I think that second one, as I recall from last night anyway, the second one that came through from the top side, I hit it in the head as well, and it just sort of knocked it over and it got straight back up and ran off. That one probably just bounced off its skull, I think. So it's probably still running around fine. But this first one that I knocked down and was kicking around in the dirt there like it was dying, I would be surprised if it's gone too far. But anyway, I cannot find it. So I don't think the air rifle's going to be my new designated pig gun or anything. It doesn't seem to have great stopping ability, but I'll try it out on a few more things, and it is a bit of fun, especially with the thermal on it. It's nice and easy to get in close to things. I think it's really only useful about 40-45 meters, but yeah, it wasn't too loud. Like when I first shot, they were sort of more upset about the pig thrashing around on the ground than the sound of the gun. I think it wouldn't have too much dramas shooting a few of them without scaring them all off like you do with a big gun. But that pretty much concludes my review on the Oneleaf MARS MT1000. I do think it's a great little thermal if you're looking at entry-level thermal. Actually, it's every bit as good as the Guide TU650P, which I paid over twice the price for. And it's smaller and lighter. All the features I've mentioned. Basically, you've seen what it can do. I've shown you daytime, nighttime, real-world shooting capabilities of it. The rangefinder's good. It's a great little bit of gear. I've got a affiliate link with Oneleaf. They will give me like 7% commission on anything that anyone buys through my link. So if you're looking at buying one, please click on the link in the description of the video and use that to buy it. I would highly recommend it.